Arsenal are set to make a third bid for Kieran Tierney. Pepe trains with the first team and Bialik joins Derby. All that and more on today's edition of the Chronicles of a Gooner. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast, brought to you by the Last Man Standing with loserpool.com, bringing you another live stream podcast. Guys, let us know how you're finding the live streams. I'm really enjoying doing them. Lots to talk about today, as always, and we're going to start by talking about Kieran Tierney. Arsenal are expected to make a third bid for the Scottish left-back. Celtic manager Neil Lennon says he wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal made another attempt to sign him. The Premier League club have failed with two bids. That's been confirmed by Celtic. The second of 25 million for Tierney, who is nearing full fitness after double hernia surgery. So this is what Lennon had to say. He said, I imagine there will be offers coming in for certain individual players. The asking price hasn't been met and the clubs know what the asking price is. So until that valuation is met, then thankfully we don't have a decision to make. If we're talking about Arsenal, they have 5 or 6 days to come back in with a revised offer. The closer it comes to the end of the window and then something crops up, we are prepared for that aspect of it, but it's not welcome. So Neil Lennon clearing that up. He does expect Arsenal to go in with a third bid. Doesn't mean Arsenal are going to do it, but you know, it seems like we've been pursuing this player throughout the whole summer. So I fully expect Arsenal to make that third bid, and all the reports and the conversations that are going on around this would suggest that too. So I firmly expect Arsenal to make that third bid for Neil Lennon's player, Kieran Tierney. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Kieran Tierney the final piece of the jigsaw? Can Arsenal go on next season and achieve Champions League qualification if we're able to bring in Kieran Tierney as well as the players we've already got? The the midfield maestro, Dani Ceballos. We've got William Saliba, who of course will join us next season. But we've also gone and splashed the cash on Pepe. That's a huge signing, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts on all the latest news. And hit us up in the comments. Right, let's flick over to another story. Christian Bialik, as I mentioned, has joined Derby County I was going to say on loan there, sorry, but it's not on loan, is it? It's a permanent deal. Christian Bialik signs for Derby. 5 years is the length of the contract. And if we have a look at the details here, as reported by Sky Sports, the Gunners will receive an initial fee worth £7.5 million from Derby for the under 21-year-old. Bialik, of course, spent last season on loan with Charlton, helping them secure promotion to the Championship via the playoff route. He joined Arsenal from Legia Warsaw in 2015 for £2 million, but has only made 2 senior appearances for the club since then. Bialik had this to say: I'm glad I joined Derby. You have a great coach here. I'm looking forward to it a lot because I know I can learn a lot from the gaffer. I want to learn a lot from the manager because I think he can help me to improve myself. I can't wait to join the lads on the pitch, and I can't wait for the first game. So Christian Bialik excited by the prospect of working with Philip Cocu, as lots of young midfielders would be. If you remember, Philip Cocu was a fantastic player, and understandably, you know, these guys are excited to work with him, and you know, you fully understand why. Right, let's move on to our next point of discussion on today's stream. Just a brief one. It is Friday. I'm putting my feet up a bit later on, covering a game tomorrow, Brentford versus Birmingham City. So I'm going to get some much-needed rest in this evening. Nicolas Pepe took part in his first group training session with the Arsenal today, after having joined earlier on this week, or yesterday it was announced. It was in the pipeline for a few days, though. You can see the players there giving him a round of applause, and there's lots of photos on the Arsenal website. If we scroll down here, you'll see some pictures of the guys training. There's Alexander Lacazette, Dani Ceballos throwing a ball against the wall. Is that modern day training? Jesus. There's old Martinelli. I'm not sure who's number 60. That's escaped me. Here he is having a duel with Lucas Torreira. Aubameyang leaping there. Again, Pepe up against Torreira in training. Smiles with Matteo Guendouzi. Ozil and Socrates. Yes, a funny combination, those two, aren't they? Pepe, again with that ball, and we come back to the picture of all of them training. It looks as though there are smiles on the faces of everybody in training at the moment. Excitement ahead of the new season. Fingers crossed that can translate onto the pitch. But one of my favourite pictures here is this one. Seeing Rob Holding back in training is massive for Arsenal. And also seeing Emile Smith-Rowe, because they're two players who've had their injury issues. So glad to see the pair back and in training. Now, the last thing I want to share with you guys is something a little bit different. Well, let me find it. Bear with me a second. Here we go. Right. So I received an email yesterday from somebody over at BT Sport. He emailed the Chronicles of a Gooner with this. You've probably heard about this on the TV. It's called The Script. I think a few groups of analytical companies, Squawka was one of them. I think Opta was another one, and Google, I think, were the three, if I'm not mistaken, got together and have tried to predict the Premier League season. Exactly what's going to happen. It's a little bit of an experiment, but they've asked me to share this on the Chronicles of a Gooner and let us know what you guys think about this too. Like I said, BT Sport have reached out. I've sent this out. I'm sure they've sent it to other podcasts too, and various other people, but this is what it says now. Here we go. Starting in reverse. So this is predicting Arsenal's game week 1-5. It says the Emirates expects progress, but things get ugly in a hurry as Arsenal lose 3 of their 5 opening Premier League games. The first North London derby ends 2-2. They drop to 15th, just below Sheffield United. And then game week 6-18, this is what they've predicted. Same old Arsenal. The Europa League campaign begins with a shock loss to pile on the pressure. But Arsenal rally in classic fashion. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang smashes 4 past Aston Villa. The Gunners are on a 10-match unbeaten run at home and abroad. But all good things must end. Southampton and Man City win at the Emirates to once again sour the mood. A fling 4-4 draw against West Ham sums up the chaos that is Unai Emery's Arsenal. Meanwhile, they top their Europa League group. So that's that bit. They've marked the number of defeats that we're going to have. Hold on, have they? Home defeats. They've marked down how many home defeats we've had, and they've put that we're going to have as many as we had back in 2010, 2011. Interesting. Game weeks 19-32. This is their prediction. Arsenal complete a rare double by beating Man United at home on New Year's Day. Murder on the dance floor. Aubameyang is the star attraction again. He's a man on a mission to power Arsenal into the top 4. But as a team, the Gunners veer between awesome and atrocious. They edge past PSV in Europe. Back at home, Everton win at the Emirates, leading to another chorus of boos. Man City smash them 3-0. They are relieved it is not more. Jesus, this is all doom and gloom, isn't it? And then game week 33-38. This is what they've gone with. It seems only the Europa League can save them. They draw Man United. Arsenal abandon all hope and crash out 3-2, just as they feared. Fans are more sad than angry. Once again, they rally. Aubameyang and Lacazette lead a demolition of high-flying Liverpool, but they drop too many points and end up trophyless with another 5th place finish. So that's what their prediction system has worked out for Arsenal. Not sure, how exactly they've worked this out, how it comes, all together. But Jesus, they're pretty confident about it. They've made some really bold statements there. Let us know what you think. You can find the full script on BT Sports website. I'll leave the link in the description for those of you who want to read it in more detail. Let's flick over now to some of your comments. Bear with us just a second. We'll get those up on the screen and we'll start interacting with you guys who are currently with us. Let's have a look. Right. Yo, I think that's meant to say, from Arsenal Nation. How you doing, mate? Sasid Wasami. Do you think Ivan Gazidis and Arsene Wenger held us back in the sense Ivan Gazidis is a bald fraud and Arsene Wenger laughed off the idea of a director of football and sporting director, and thus we didn't get a modern football structure? I think that they've held us back in some ways, but I don't think it was intentional, like some people would have you believe. I don't think that... I don't know about Ivan Gazidis, but I'd certainly say that I don't think Arsene Wenger held us back. on purpose. Arsene Wenger loved Arsenal Football Club. There's no doubt about that. He still does. And I think to question that is a little bit disrespectful to a man who gave so much to the club. And I know he's gone now and we shouldn't keep talking about him, but he did have opportunities to move on and he chose not to. And we should be grateful for all the good things Arsene Wenger done for the club. Yes, there was some bad towards the end, but I don't for a second think that it was, it was done on purpose or because he's being malicious. I genuinely think that whatever Arsene Wenger did, he did it with the best interest of the club at heart. And his approach was wrong. We all know that now. But to say it was, because he laughed off the idea and didn't want the club to progress, I don't know. I think he thought that not having a director of football, not having a sporting director was the best thing for Arsenal. So that's kind of where I stand on that. Russ Morgan, good afternoon, mate. We need a centre-back as well. I agree with you. In an ideal world, it would be nice to see Arsenal bring in a couple of players, wouldn't it? Cannon Fodder TV, afternoon, Harry. What a day yesterday. Do check them out here on YouTube too. Sassid comes back with another comment. Also, I give Emery a lot of stick, but the team left by Arsene Wenger and Ivan Gazidis was awful. Only Oba, Laka and Holding were at the proper quality. The rest were either in their 30s or came through the academy. Yeah, fair points there. Arsenal Scout 16, but we need to find a system that gives a balance to our attack. Absolutely agree. We need a system that gives us a balance to our entire team. We need to be defensively solid. We need to have, the fluidity within our team to go forward and attack and break people down, but without losing that defensive stability that, is so important in the Premier League nowadays. Cannon Fodder TV, are Arsenal fans asking too much? Do we still need the Tierney deal? Some players will need to be sold before we can have more incoming. This might be controversial, but I think we need a centre-back more than we need Kieran Tierney. But it appears that Arsenal have been unable to identify a centre-back during this transfer window who they feel would improve the side. And so it feels like they're going to pursue Tierney instead. Of course, Saliba's been signed. We won't see the benefits of that till next season. However, we'll have to see, of course, how all of this pans out. The PA Gooner, saw this on TalkSport the other day. Yeah, it has been in the media, the predictions thing, the script as it's called. Darren Watson, does the Maguire deal for 80 million inflate the marketplace for any centre-back we may be trying to acquire? In a way, yeah. I think it inflates the Premier League marketplace. And when I say that, I mean it affects the deals done between Premier League clubs. I think when you look on the continent, I don't think that I don't think that you can say that the Maguire price will have an impact on those sort of clubs and their leagues and stuff. It has an impact on this market, the Premier League market. I think that's what I'm trying to say. But for me, 80 million for Maguire is absolutely mad, and I can't understand why anybody, let alone Manchester United, would pay that. The PA Gooner comes back regarding the script. TalkSport did that the other day, but they can't predict injuries. Yeah, that's true. Let's see what else we've got. Sassid's cleared up his comment. I meant unintentionally hold us back with the football instructor, not his tenure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying as well. I don't think it was done intentionally, in any way, shape or form. Tommy O'Donoghue on the Wenger point. Wenger gave us some fantastic years football-wise. Years I'll never forget. Me too, mate. Andre Cossack says, I like the new graphics. Thank you so much, mate. It's been a bit of a technical nightmare the last few days, but we're getting there. George Uadia says, the smoke that arose before we signed Pepe was so little that at first thought you would think you're going crazy. Do you see us signing Zaha? Because with the new management team, seems like everything is possible. I personally don't see us signing Zaha. I think that Arsenal have got their wide man now, and if Arsenal do have further funds available, it's all about improving that defence, and fingers crossed they go out and get Tierney and get a centre-back too. That would be my ideal end to the transfer window. Gerard B says, what about Pape Abu Cisse? Isn't he a good buy at $10 million? I think it'd be in euros because he's coming from Greece. But for me, I haven't seen a great deal of this player. I've heard glowing reviews. He's always sort of being spoken about in high esteem. by the Greek media anyway, but that is not, based on anything more than the reports I've seen. I couldn't tell you whether he's good enough for the Arsenal, but at 10 million euros or whatever they're quoting, it's not a huge gamble, is it? Limitless Football Academy, massive shout out to Tez and all the guys there. Give them a follow on Twitter. Defo need a centre-back who will lead us from the back. I'm happy with the signing so far, but would like to see more. Completely agree. Tank Dude OW, who do you think we will sign in the last days of the transfer market, and where do you think we'll finish in the league? Really difficult to say. Really difficult to say. I think that Arsenal have a really, really good chance of making the top four this season because of, I don't think United are in a good state. I don't think that, in spite of them signing Maguire, I don't think they'll be in a good state. I don't think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for them. There's question marks over Frank Lampard, whether he's the right man for Chelsea. And of course, they've got a transfer ban to contend with. So that will play a big part. And I feel like, we had a really good opportunity to make the top four last season. We've got another splendid opportunity to make that because of the circumstances. And I think that, City, Liverpool, and Spurs almost are probably nailed on for the top three. And then after that, it's a battle between the three of us. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. OD behavior. Can't wait for the season to start and watch your shows. Seen the lineup for the show. Nice. Keep it up. Thanks very much, mate. We'll be bringing you lots and lots of shows over the season. More coverage than ever. As I said on yesterday's show, we're bringing you daily streams. We'll be bringing you a review show on Mondays. And we'll be bringing you a preview show on Thursdays, where we'll be speaking to fans and journalists associated with our weekend's opponents to get a bit more insight onto those teams. Rinat Sahab, Harry, how about yesterday signing Pepe? What do you think about maybe would it have been better to sign Malcolm from Barca? He was twice as cheap, half the price. And who would you take between them two? Thank you. Like your channel. Thank you very much, mate. I think Pepe is a better player than Malcolm. I think Malcolm's career has not really taken off at Barcelona. He's just joined Zenit St. Petersburg, which kind of tells you all you need to know about the direction in which his career's gone since joining Barcelona. Maybe didn't have as many opportunities as he could have, but ultimately hasn't made it. Losbin says we've got to get some defenders in. Agree. Let's see what else we've got. Nico F. Liverpool splash cash on the attack before getting Van Dijk. With hopefully Champions League football and more money, we can improve within 2 seasons. Let's be patient. Last comment, we're going to go to Priyank Sunny. Do you think Bialik is that bad that Emery didn't want him in his plans? Personally, I think he would definitely be better than Mustafi. I don't think it's a case of Bialik being that bad. I think that you've got to be realistic about Bialik. Everybody keeps talking about how we should have kept him, etc., etc. And to a degree, I understand where they're coming from. But Bialik played well in League One. That's a massive step up. To come into a Premier League side, especially one as big and where it's as pressurised as it is at Arsenal, and be expected to come in and fill a position that is so, so important, I think we're being a bit unrealistic. I don't think that Bialik has shown enough to say that he's ready to play at the very, very highest level. And the fact that he's joined Derby probably backs that point up. So that's just my view on that. Mustafi's not good enough. We all know that. But I'm not necessarily sure Bialik was a good answer or was the right answer. And I think that the fact we've got £10 million for a player who's only ever made 2 appearances for Arsenal, who's been out on loan for most of his Arsenal career, who only cost us £2 million, I think is an absolute steal. And we should be very, very pleased with that. Right, guys, that brings us to the end of today's podcast. Today's stream. We'll be back on Monday with more. Going to take a well-earned break over the weekend. I'll be, like I said, I'll be at Brentford versus Birmingham City. I'll be at Griffin Park covering that game live for Vavel. So if you want to follow that one, follow me on Twitter at Harry Symeou. Until then, take care. This is a Sofa Sports Media production. Follow us on Twitter at Sofa Sports Media. Subscribe to our Premier League show by searching for Sofa Sports Media on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you download them from. Join the Sofa Sports Media family to enjoy lots of exclusive content for the 2019-20 season. Sofa Sports Media, subscribe, enjoy, and join the discussions.